great contributions to NASCAR that casual fans don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long time. You know, I've had a lot of races and all. And like I say, I've had my goal was to win the Daytona 500 when I was a kid, and it never happened. But I was able to come close a few times, and I run a third, a fourth, a seventh, a ninth, or a 12th. You know, unsponsored. And but I had, I think, 8 500 winners drive my car, and then I had 8 champions drive my car. 1 world champion, Jacques Villeneuve, and then let's see, Daytona 500s was Bill Elliott, Jeff Bodine, Jamie McMurray, Ernie Irvin, Sterling Martin, a few more. I think it was 8 of them.
Your cars were so good on play tracks. Is that because you wanted the Daytona 500 win so much?
Yeah, that's right.
You stretched them.
Stretched them, and I could do that, and it could be more competitive because there was so much technology that we didn't have in the mile-and-a-half cars and stuff. And then I watched Ernie Elliott was a good friend of mine, and Ernie says, for us to win the championship, we're going to have to learn Bill how to short track race. And so he did that, and he won the championship. Jack Roush didn't bother with the plate races. He did all the other races, and he won a championship. He says, I can get them in the race, and they can drive and finish good in the 500, but we're going to go win the championship. And he did that. So I said, I thought the first race that I would win would be a short track race, but it wound up being the Brad Keselowski race at Talladega. But so, had a good time anyway over the years.
How did you connect with these? Like Villeneuve and Max.
Yeah.
This is outside of Cup.
Yeah, well, yes. Some of them, called me about trying to drive the car. Want to drive the car, and I let them. I turned Dale Jr. down, Tony Stewart down, Matt Kenseth down. It's all I knew them, through the deal, and so I told Junior, I said, well, go wreck your daddy's car for a while and then come back, because we were, trying, and Dale Jr. is senior. I was a good friend with senior, and so Neil Bonnet was Dale's best friend, and unfortunately he got killed in my car in '94.
Oh. Who's your tires?
Well, it wasn't the tires, but he had the Hoosier tires.
He had the Hoosier tires.
He had the Hoosier tires, and Neil was a good one, and this ballot on the Hall of Fame, Neil's on it, and my other good friend that helped me a lot was Ernie Elliott. Ernie Elliott, when he was went to Ganassi and started building the Dodge stuff, he calls me up, and I quit trying, for a while. And he said, James, he says, I got probably the best motors in NASCAR sitting here in my shop. Get you a car and come get these motors. I said, Ernie, why in the hell did you call me? He says, because I know you're going to go get a car. So I went and got the car, went to Daytona, finished third, and got $760,000. And then I run fourth, seventh, whatever. But Ernie called me, and he did that. Ernie's on the ballot for the Hall of Fame this year, and I've been trying to promote Ernie because Ernie's done so much for racing.
Sure.
I mean, what Ernie and Bill did at Talladega, they'll be talking about for 100 years.
Oh yeah.
And he's Ernie took his brother. He taught Bill how to drive. He taught Dan how to work on transmissions and rear ends. He took the other guys in town and learned them how to jack and change tires. And then he had the crew chief and Bill's Motors, so he took that job. And the rest of it's history. And I told Bill, I said, Bill, Ernie needs to be in this Hall of Fame deal. He says, I said, don't you think that? He said, James, Ernie deserves it way more than I do. He said, I'm a member of the Hall of Fame. He said, but my brother, if anybody deserves it more than me, it would be him.
Wow.